Hello class, this is lesson 7-3 about how to write and solve equations with variables on each side. So, the steps I want you to follow, first of all, are to get rid of the parentheses. So just like before, use the distributive property first. Then, once that's taken care of, I want you to move all of your variables to the same side. So if you have an x on the left and on the right, I would always move it to the left. That's just my preference, but you want to move it all to the same side, and you do that by adding or subtracting. After that, you can go ahead and you can get rid of the lonely number. And you're going to do that by either adding or subtracting. And you've done that several times now. And then to finish it off, I want you to get rid of the leech. So that number that is attached to the variable, just get rid of it by either multiplying or dividing. So let's go ahead and try this out with a couple of examples. 7n minus 5 equals 10n plus 13. So following our steps, we're going to move the variables to the left by subtracting 10n on both sides. 7 minus 10 leaves me with negative 3n. And then I will rewrite everything else. Minus 5 is equal to 13. Now I can move my lonely number to the right by adding 5. And then I am left with negative 3n is equal to 18. Final step, divide both sides by negative 3 to get rid of the leech. And my final answer, n, is equal to negative 6. So like we've been doing, let's go ahead and plug our solution back into our original equation. 7 times negative 6 minus 5 is equal to 10 times negative 6 plus 13. So I plugged it in on both sides, so we really need to check our work. So this is negative 42 minus 5. The opposite side is negative 60 plus 13. Negative 42 minus 5 is negative 47, and the opposite side also adds up to negative 47. So let's go ahead and do the same thought process. We're going to move the variable to the left. So 5h minus 3h leaves me with 2h's. Minus 2 is equal to 6. Now I can add 2 to both sides to get rid of my lonely number. And I have 2h left over is equal to 8. And then we can divide both sides by 2 to get that h by itself. My final answer, h is equal to 4. So let's go ahead and plug this in as well. So I have 5 times 4 minus 2 is equal to 3 times 4 plus 6. So we're going to check this out. 5 times 4 is 20, take away 2. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 6. So the left side is 18 and the right side is also 18. So it works out. Perfect. All right, this time 5 parentheses 2y plus 1 is equal to 10y. So let's get rid of our parentheses using the distributive property. So I have 5 times 2y is 10y, and 5 times 1 is 5, and that equals 10y. And then I'm going to move my variables to the same side. So I'm going to subtract 10y from both sides. And, look what happens. I get rid of all of my variables, and I have 5 on the left, and I have 0 on the right. Well, 5 does not equal 0, so when this happens, you are going to write no solution, which means there is not a single answer for this possible equation. And if there's no solution, there's nothing for you to check other than maybe just going back and checking your work. So let's do this again. 6a plus 2 is equal to 2 parentheses 3a plus 1. So let's use our distributive property to get rid of our parentheses. So this on the other side equals 6a plus 2 as well. All right, well, let's just double check. Let's subtract 6a from both sides. And let's see, I am left with 2 equals 2, which is true. And when this happens and you eliminated all of your variables, you are going to write all real numbers, which means every single real number you can think of is a solution. So you can pick any number you could possibly think of and plug it in, and it should work out. So I'm going to pick -1. So 6 times -1 plus 2 is that equal to 2 parentheses 3 times -1 plus 1. So that's -6 plus 2. That's 2 times -3 plus 1. That's -4. 2 times -2 is also -4. So see, it works out. All right, let's go ahead and do a couple more. 7 parentheses 2c plus 3 is equal to 21 plus 14c. I'm going to distribute the 7. So I'm left with 14c plus 21 is equal to 21 plus 14c. Looks similar. Let's subtract 14c on both sides. And that's going to remove all of our variables, and I'm left with 21 equals 21. When that happens, we put all real numbers. And so again, I can pick any number to check my work. How about let's just pick 0 this time. So 2 times 0 plus 3 is equal to 21 plus 14 times 0. So on the other side, that's 0 plus 3, and then that's 21 plus 0. So that's 7 times 3. That's equal to 21. Perfect. Both sides equal 21. It works out. All right, final one. 4 parentheses -2 plus 3m is equal to 12m. So I'm going to use my distributive property, and then I'm going to combine the variables to make them be on the same side. And when I do that, I am left with -8 is equal to 0, which is not true. So I'm going to again put no solution. And there's nothing to check. So we are done. We're going to move on to a final problem now. This time we have a square, and we're tasked to find the perimeter of the square. So if you recall, all sides of squares are the same. They are equal. So I can set them equal to each other. And then I can solve just like I've been doing. So I'm going to move the variables to the same side. And I have x is equal to 4. So now I can take that 4 and plug it back into the expression in my square, in my diagram. So for instance, 2 times 4 is 8. On the other side, 4 plus 4 is 8. So that's telling me every side is going to be 8. And there are 4 sides of my square. Perimeter is adding up all 4 of those sides, so my perimeter is 32. So let's go ahead and conclude this lesson with a word problem. Alina and Dahlia open their own gyms. Alina's gym charges a $50 membership fee, plus they charge $30 per session with a trainer. Whereas Dahlia's gym charges a $250 membership fee, plus they charge $10 per session with a personal trainer. For how many sessions will their costs be the same? So this is a fairly straightforward problem. Let's just start by talking about Alina and what hers would cost. It's going to cost the membership fee, which is $50, plus $30 per session. So 30 times, we'll say S for session. And we want to know, when is this equal to Dahlia's charges? So for Dahlia, her membership fee was $250 plus $10 per session. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and subtract our 10s on both sides to combine our variables. And that leaves us with 50 plus 20s is equal to 250. And then I can subtract 50 from both sides of my equation. And when I do that, that leaves me with 20s is equal to 200. Final step, let's divide both sides by 20. And when I do that, I find that S is equal to 10, meaning 10 sessions with a trainer. So what I'm going to write down for my final answer is that The cost will be the same for 10 sessions. And that's it. So I hope that this lesson made sense. Please let me know if you have any questions when you come into class.